It's Friday, July 24th. My name's Juan Brown. You're watching the Blanco Lirio channel. And for those of you just tuning in, and for those of you that have been following along, thanks so much for your support. That's Jenny Morgan. And we are on the Trans-American Trail, TAT'NBack, Western Trans-American Trail, TAT'NBack 2020 ride. Just a recap of where we are, what we're doing, and who we are. We have followed Sam Carrero's Trans-American Trail more or less, with some additions and subtractions, catching some of the best trails along the route from Port Orford, Oregon, all the way out here to Colorado, and then we headed on over to Wichita, Kansas for the Aviation Content Creators Award ceremony. After that weekend, we headed south down into Oklahoma, picked up the TAT, and worked our way back into here to Colorado. Again, adding and subtracting some trails like this one right here. And we're going to take the, what I call the southern TAT route back to Northern California home. So that's an all dirt trail. We're at what, 4,700 miles now. We're on the Rally Raid CB500X motorcycles. These are Honda motorcycles that are modified using Rally Raid equipment that gives it additional suspension and spoke wheels, a design that was dreamed up by Jenny Morgan herself and engineered by John Mitchinson in the UK. We'll get the links there. I'll get them to you on the trail here. It's a little hard to put all that together. And Jenny, you are living here in the States now. You're originally from the UK. You started out as a photo-moto journalist.
Yeah.
And, the question was, how do you know these trails so well?
Well,
really quick.
let me tell you. Well, so I came here in 2007 the first time and rode the TAT in 2008. A friend of mine had ridden it from the UK, said, you got to ride this trail, and it was great. And ever since, I've been coming back every year for the last 13 years to the States, for between 3 and 6 months, traveling around, getting to know the areas. Every time I pass through somewhere, I try and add a new section in, and cataloging them all on my GPS and on my paper maps. So I've got a huge network right the way across the country now, more so west of the Rockies, but increasingly I've been across the country about 5 times now. So I know a lot of the trails out east as well. There's some fantastic adventure riding, and for anybody who thinks you've got to go to Mongolia or Africa for an adventure, sure, you get a cultural experience there that you perhaps don't get in the United States, but equally, if you want to ride epic scenery, you know, Colorado, Utah, and then the Pacific Northwest is world-class terrain. Idaho, your favorite. and so really, you can decide how many people you want to see. We've been camping most of the time. We've seen very few people other than when we've gone into a town to get some fuel and maybe to get a meal in a restaurant rather than get our own food and eat on the trail. So you can make it as wilderness or as comfortable if you want. You can ride the whole Trans-America Trail and stay in a motel every night if you want to, if you're prepared to divert off the trail to a local town and find somewhere to sleep. But the joy really is having camping equipment with you, and you find a spot like this. Wouldn't you want to wake up with this view in the morning? Yeah. Just set your tent here. Yeah. It's beautiful. So
she's keeping all the GPS tracks. I hope that she will offer them for sale sometimes if you really want to know her GPS tracks, her version of the Trans-America Trail, which is just spectacular.
Yeah, I would say that there's a couple of people. Sam is the originator of the Trans-America Trail.
And get this,
he's spent his 20 or more years of his life proving the trails, cataloging them, and offering them for sale. And it's only fair, I think, to give him, he's not asking an awful lot of money, particularly for the GPS tracks, which everybody uses these days. And at the end of the day, the trails are all public trails. You can ride them yourself, but unless you're like me and want to spend hours or days or weeks poring over maps and plotting a route that you don't know whether is suitable for a motorcycle.
Right, you have no idea if this is going to turn into heaven or hell. And I would say that these bikes are about as big as you'd want to take on our version. The TAT Trail, yeah, you could do it on a GS.
You can do it, the majority of it. If you're a good rider, people always say, what is the best bike for the TAT? And the best bike is the one you're most confident on. If you're on something that's big and heavy and you feel like you're a passenger on it, maybe choose something slightly smaller, more manageable. If you're confident riding these big 1000cc adventure bikes and you know, an experienced rider, there's nothing to stop you doing that. But I would say you'd have more fun and you'd have more options if you took something smaller,
like these bikes here. Yeah. All right, we got to hit the trail. Monarch Pass next. Stay tuned for more updates. Thanks for watching. Thanks so much for your support on Patreon. See you here. in one fell swoop. He's gutted.
Wow.
Huh? Now you want to get in here and find out what he's been eating,
No,
so that you
we
can
don't want to do that.
so that you can know what to use for bait.
Cut his head off and I'll be happy. Yeah.
And then now see, you learn to do that real quick. You can be a surgeon, kids. You can be a doctor.
I want to be a vet.
You can be a vet. See? That's
I'll
a
leave
good
his
old
head
thing.
on and I'll put it in a baggie and I'll say, that's the one, the friend. Bye.
The Silver Plume General Store here in Pitkin, Colorado is another great backcountry resource. One of the only places you're going to get fuel and some groceries and a good cup of coffee. Hang out on the rocking chair and get the latest information on what's going on with the local passes here. Great riding all through this area. Single track, Jeep track. He's got a whole fleet of four-wheelers, razors you can rent over here and go explore these amazing passes in this part of Colorado. The Silver Plume General Store. Say hi to Chris. Tell him I sent you. See you here. It's pretty relentlessly steep uphill climb up these passes. It's just Tin Cup. I gotta take some air out of my tire here. Keep it from bouncing around so much on these big old rocks. Whew. Take a tall, cool drink of this. Get you some. Tin Cup Pass, Colorado. See you here. Take a call to... He's lost his mind. Altitude sickness, nurse, oxygen tent.